I'll next yield myself 5 minutes. Thanks to each of the witnesses for being here and giving us your insights and your valuable time. We're grateful for that. I've heard from my colleagues on the other side of the aisle, and they talk about the resilience of the American economy, and we're doing better than Europe. We're doing better than other areas. And I think the foundation of that is based in the fact that with the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act, we created a vibrant economy where it made America the most advantageous place in the world to invest, to manufacture, and to sell around the world. And the things that have made this economy very, very resilient, and even to the point that they've been able to withstand the massive amount of public spending, is the fact that we have made American business and Americans competitive, and we've made them more competitive than other places in the world. And so I just want to say that, yes, I agree the American economy is resilient. And I do think that it's a direct result of the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act that have allowed Americans to invest in their people, American business to invest in their people, and to invest in their systems, and to become more efficient so we can win around the world. Now, with that backdrop, we are seeing some things happen that are eroding even the greatness of the American economy right now. You know, when I look at, and Mr. Duda Gupta, I hope with my Southern accent, I hope I said that correctly. You said that corporate America should pay its fair share, correct? And yet with the Inflation Reduction Act and the infrastructure bill, we see green energy tax credits that now we're going to go to the level of about $1.2 trillion, and about 90% of those are going to go to the very corporations that you want to pay you want to pay their fair share of the taxes. So you're going to then, and what my colleagues on the other side of the aisle have done is given a massive tax break to the wealthiest corporations to advance their own agenda. Mr. Ebell, does that sound right? Am I off base with that?
There are many ironies involved in the position of the taxers and spenders. You have revealed one. In fact, a huge amount of the federal budget is devoted to giving handouts to corporate special interests and rewarding the people who have the right agenda. This is a real drag on the American economy, and it depresses ultimately investment by private individuals in businesses that could actually create jobs and create wealth. So yes, you're absolutely right. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Ebell. Next I want to go to something, as we've talked about this debt limit right now and what's happening. It's amazing to me that the Biden administration continues to go down the road of forgiving student loan debt. Ms. Gressler, can you draw out a diagram of what happens when, for this latest tranche, $42 billion, who actually pays for that $42 billion? Because currently, right now, students and American workers that have those loans, about 17% of the folks in the country, are responsible for paying that back. As soon as that's wiped off the books, explain to us how that impacts the rest of the taxpayers and the debt, if you would.
Well, it's already affecting the debt, caused us to approach the debt limit sooner, and will cause us to run out of money in extraordinary measures sooner, because we're going on 3 years now that people who hold those student loans have not been required to make any payments on them. So continuing to do that is just pushing us closer to that limit. Okay,
so as we are then having to, because once you take the mandatory spending side out of the equation, and then you defend the nation, which is our number one responsibility, we're basically borrowing money for everything else. So we are going to borrow more money to pay off the debt, and then we're going to pay a higher interest rate on that, which is going to exacerbate the problem, which means that we're not going to be able to take care of our most vulnerable, and at some point it's going to drive into Social Security and Medicare. Is that a fair statement?
Yes, and if we want to protect the most vulnerable people, then we should be at least asking those who have the highest incomes, those who have achieved a college degree, to pay back the money that they borrowed.
Thank you. One final thing, a lot of discussion here on the definition of woke. Like you can make, people can make it up, do whatever they want to with it, say however they want to with it. Bottom line, I can tell you what American people don't want. They don't want the federal government or other entities telling them how to think, what to think, and why to think, and they especially don't want somebody, they don't want their tax dollars being used for that purpose. With that, I will yield back. Next, I will call on